What's up, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with NIO, Tesla, SPY, and the overall market. And break down some very important things that are going on with the market approaching tomorrow. And how things are looking, in my opinion, as well. But just know that I am not a financial planner. Make sure you take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total. Not to mention 8.1% APY on invested cash. The offer ends in just 5 days. Anyways, let's talk about what's happening with the markets. Looking at NIO, we're on a very, very nice uptrend so far, forming a nice cup. I do want to call out the fact that we hit our 200 EMA exactly as predicted around that 4.8 area. Then we came back down, still closing in the green. So when that typically happens, you might see a little bit of a dip and some, more attempts to try to push higher. I think that there's a good chance we see a small dip tomorrow morning before it tries to push higher. And we could be forming a nice cup to try to break this resistance. If we break 4.8, whether it's after deliveries or beforehand, we have this big gap to fill, which could end up happening. And that'll be very, very bullish if you end up achieving that. We'll be watching just to see if that ends up being the case. So be very, very patient nonetheless. Now, for other factors out here, we have NIO celebrating their 10th anniversary with the launch of the ET9 and the Firefly brand. That's been some bullish news so far. So we'll just have to see how things continue from here. But overall, it's very awesome to see that this is going on. I was trying to see a lot of buyers stepping in, especially as they have upgraded part of their ET9 with new trims. So very awesome stuff. I think it's great to see that. And let's hope we get a nice push for the end of the year sales. I also want to mention that with the launch of their new brands, this could help sales, especially going into next year. We're waiting to see what happens with their sales. That's going to be the next big factor. So get ready for some high volatility once you approach the end of the year. On top of this, I didn't see anything else that was too crazy on the news. We just passed Christmas. And besides that, volume is very, very short for NIO. So we're getting low volume. There's not really a whole lot that's going on for now. There's going to be a big surge in volume the closer we get to the end of the year once they announce their deliveries. Now, for other factors out there, just know the market was very flat today. We did see the S&P 500 close a little bit in the green. So did the QQQ, and many others were very flat. So very flat day in the markets. We did see some buyers attempt to step in. So we'll see if the market holds up at the levels we're at or not. There was some data that came out today. Everything was quite minor. Tomorrow, there's not really any significant data coming out tomorrow, so just keep that in mind. And then the fear and greed index is currently at fear. That's making up the majority of sentiments. We're stuck between extreme and fear and neutral, so we're in the middle for now. And we'll see which way this ends up going. Lastly, there's no significant earnings coming out for the week, so there's a quiet period for now. The question now remains, what do I see for the share prices? So for now, I do see a little bit more upside potential in NIO as long as we don't lose 4.58. I think that this might come down a bit before it tries to push higher, but there's going to be another attempt to get back up to 4.8. I think we're slowly on an uptrend right now, so this might make its move down before it starts to push up for 4.8. If we break this going into next week, this could be the start of a nice breakout, especially as we have a nice double bottom, which could lead to a big push higher. There's upside potential looking at the chart. We'll have to see if we break 4.8 to turn even more bullish, so give this some time to develop. For other factors out there, we have SPY. SPY has pushed quite a bit, so we're very close to filling this imbalance. Going into tomorrow, I do see something very similar to what happened today. There might be a little bit of a dip coming in the morning towards that 598 area. As long as we hold that, we could still bounce back up to about the 602 plus zone. If we break the high from yesterday and today, we're looking for a push to start going back up to 603, then 605 above that, which is where we have our range. So look for a small dip and a bounce is the most likely possibility. But if we lose 598, there could be a bigger dip coming all the way down to the 595s. So let's hope that support holds and we try to get a rebound. Overall, we're doing a good job, and let's just see how it goes. But look for a small dip right back down towards that 598.65 to 599 area, and we'll see if we bounce off that or not. That's what I'm anticipating for now. On ES, we've been trying to push it, but there's a very tough resistance around the 6100 area. We have not been able to close above that yet. So there might be a little dip coming against about the 60-60 area before it tries to bounce. And this is going to be our range for the time being, 60-60 to 6100. Look for a dip and a bounce for now, and we'll have to see if we break out or not. So give it some time. Don't forget tomorrow's Friday, so there might be some consolidation. As far as Nvidia goes, there's a possible left shoulder here ahead, and then we could be forming this right shoulder. We were not able to crack past 142, even close above 140. So it makes me think that this could be dipping back down to about 138, if not 136.8. And we'll see if we bounce or not. So look for a dip to 138. Then we'll see if we get some kind of rebound. Then we'll see how it goes from here. But look for a dip to 138, and we'll see if we bounce. Nvidia might see a little bit of a move to the downside. As far as other factors go, we also happen to have Bitcoin. Bitcoin's dipping right over here. We have a double bottom like structure that has been developing. If we try to reclaim 97,000. We could try to bounce back up to 100,000. But overall, there's a double bottom right here. And we'll just have to see how things end up going. I anticipate a little bit more downside. We might be retesting 94,000 before it tries to bounce again. So just keep that in mind. As far as Tesla goes, we're forming a cup and handle like structure. To me, it looks like this could dip a little bit more towards like that 450 to 447 area. Hopefully, we hold 447. If not, we could be dipping closer to like the low 440. Then we'll see if we end up bouncing. Look for a small dip towards 450, if not 447. We'll see if we bounce. So give this the time it needs. For NQ, we're on a very, very nice uptrend right now. As long as you don't lose 21,843, this is still favoring the upwards move. If we break past 22,800, we're looking for 22,200 coming next. There could be a dip right over here towards 21,900, and we'll see if we bounce or not off of this. So just be careful. This could be forming cup and handle, but just be careful with the small dip. I am anticipating that again. We had a high here from Friday. We were not able to break that high. I'm sorry, did I say Friday? I'm sorry, I meant this high over here from right before Christmas. So it was around that Tuesday period. We had a high up here. We weren't really able to essentially crack past this again during the second test. So there might be a small dip right over here towards 21,800. We'll see if we bounce or not off of that. So just keep that in mind. For the QQQ, it's also looking like it might dip a little bit. We might be looking for a retest of 526, and we'll see if we bounce. If we test on rebound, we're looking for a big push to continue this uptrend. But if we lose support right here, we could be dipping lower. So look for a small dip and hopefully a bounce depending on how the data ends up looking. Apple's on a nice uptrend. We're looking for a test of 260. We'll have to see if we break that or not. If it breaks this, we're looking for a push back up to 262. If we can't, this could be rejecting. Now, there's a possible rising wedge-like structure that could be developing on Aapl. So if you draw it out like this, you guys could see that this is what has been developing so far. So I would warn you to be a little bit careful with the way that this is developing. If we do see some kind of like turn or not, that's going to be very important for it. So just keep that in mind. We'll be watching to see if that ends up being the case. But with that being said, going into the others, we also happen to have Palantir. Palantir is dipping a little bit, so we're going to be looking for the support down here around this 80 area. So might see a small dip closer to 80 before it tries to bounce again. It's still bullish as it's making higher highs and higher lows. We'll look for a dip and a bounce as the most likely possibility. For other factors out there, don't forget we also happen to have, just to double check, a few more. We also happen to have the IWM Russell 2000, which is looking a bit more bullish. We are currently trying to break out closer to this resistance right here around this 50 EMA. So I think that we could be looking for a push for 228. If that breaks, we're looking for a bigger pump. For ARM, we could be dipping to this imbalance. It gets down to about 127. Coin is range bound between 273 and 279. If it doesn't hold above that, we could be dipping closer to 269. So just be careful. Amazon's going to be retesting 226. If that fails us, we could be looking for a move back down to 225, and we'll see if we bounce or not. Meta could also be kind of dipping here. We have like an inverse head and shoulders. We need this to hold and break past 610, and we're going to be looking more bullish. If not, this could be retesting 599. If we lose 598, there's going to be a risk of bigger downside for like 592. But with the inverse head and shoulders, there is upside potential. Microsoft is range bound between 440 and 431.5. We're stuck in the middle. We'll see if we break 440 or not, so give this some time to develop. Google may dip and get closer to about 195. We'll see if we bounce or not off of that, so give that some more time to develop as well. But with that being said, looking at the VIX is on a bit of a downtrend. We're going to be watching to see if we can bounce off 14.1 or not. So be very careful. The market is looking like it's going to see a small dip tomorrow morning, but we'll see if we bounce off our support. We haven't lost critical support to turn bearish quite yet. SPY is still holding 598, for example. So give this market some time to develop. As far as NIO goes, we look bullish. We're on a slight uptrend right here. We could be forming a nice cup, but there might be a small dip tomorrow morning back down towards this 4.63 area. Then we'll see if we bounce off that and start pushing back up to 4.8. I think we're doing a good job so far forming a cup. Then we'll just have to see how things end up developing from here. Thank you all so much for listening. Have a good rest of your day, and peace out.